you reference Isaiah 51:16. You quoted from the NASB.
Yes.
I have put my words in your mouth and have
Mhm.
covered you with the shadow of my hand to establish the heavens,
Yes.
to found the earth,
Yes.
and to say to Zion, you are my people.
Right.
As you know, many other translations have a different reading of the text here. For example, above, the New King James reflects that alternative reading that the creation is attributed back to God, not to this shadowy figure servant. I have covered you with the shadow so that I, that is God,
Yeah.
may plant the heavens, lay the foundations. So
Okay.
what do you say to that alternative?
Well, it wouldn't make any difference to me because God and Jesus are acting. In Jesus' case, he's the agent of God. Whether you say God is going to do this or whether you say the agent, the servant of God is doing it, comes to the same thing. So it really doesn't make the slightest difference to me. I've covered you with the shadow of my hand. There's a difference there in the various versions. Even the Greek Septuagint has variety. So take your pick. Doesn't matter in the slightest. Jesus is going to be the agent doing all this, but God is the one doing it. And as you know, in Hebrew thinking, an agent is as his sponsor's person. Doesn't well matter in this case whether you say God's going to do it or Jesus as the agent of God is going to do it. It's going to happen anyway. So that's this wonderful new heaven and earth coming. So that's a good point.
As you know, Anthony, the Son of God is usually described as the agent of the original Genesis creation. So we have John 1:10. He was in the world. So this is now introducing the man Jesus, and everything came into existence through him. You have Hebrews 1:2, the Son through whom God made the ages, and you have the famous 1 Corinthians 8:6. But this verse, if we take that alternative reading, Isaiah 51:16, seems to be saying that now the Son is placed in the role of creator. So can you just explain that sort of contrast there between the Son, the Messiah, as the agent or the means through, and then suddenly it switches to him as the creator?
Well, both things are true. God is the ultimate creator. He created everything by himself. That's where you start. Isaiah 44:24. God was absolutely solo, unaccompanied at the creation, the original creation, Genesis. But in this new creation, he's using an agent. And so he says, I've put my words in your mouth. I, God, have put my words in my servant's mouth, Jesus, in this case, to do this work of the new creation. That's the distinction that's quite clear there, I think. And to say to Zion, you're my people. Zion is Jerusalem. Israel, we'd call it the nation and geographically Israel. And God is going to say to these dear people who will have been through the time of the great tribulation, which precedes this time of wonderful regeneration.
Right. So the key seems to be that the question should be, which creation is Isaiah speaking about?
Yes.
So here are a couple of actually Trinitarian commentaries that make the point that it is not about the Genesis creation. So you have the Word Biblical Commentary. The NIV translation, which is that alternative reading, makes no sense if it refers to the original creation. In the other instances, God acts alone using no agent. Here in Isaiah 51:16, God has hidden in the shadow of his hand his agent. And then the Net Bible, the Lord has commissioned the addressee so that the latter might create the universe. Perhaps creation imagery is employed metaphorically here to refer to the transformation that Jerusalem will experience, as we read in Isaiah 65.
Exactly right. That first comment is brilliant. It's the new creation in which Jesus is involved. How do I know that? Because Isaiah 44:24 has established that at the original creation in Genesis, God was totally unaccompanied. Yes, he might have invited the angels and so on to see what he was doing, let us make and so on, but Jesus wasn't there then. But Jesus is the servant through whom the second new creation is being effective. That's wonderful.